Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be dialing in from around the world. I want to thank all of you for spending the next hour or so with us, for joining us for today's webinar, Open Banking for Corporate Treasurers, presented by Aite Group Senior Analyst Enrico Camerinelli. I'm Lori Spenley, Head of Marketing and Communications here at Aite Group, and I'll be one of your hosts for today's webinar. We'll be starting the webinar shortly, but first let me just take care of a few housekeeping items. Today's webinar will be recorded, and a link to view the recording on demand will be available to all current Aite Group clients of our wholesale banking and payments practice. We'll be taking questions at the end of the webinar, so please feel free to submit your questions using the questions feature located in the GoToWebinar toolbar to the right of your screen. It's now my pleasure to introduce today's speakers. Our main host, Enrico Camerinelli, is a senior analyst at Aite Group, specializing in wholesale banking, cash and trade finance, and payments. Based in Milan, he brings a strong European focus to Aite Group's wholesale banking practice. Joining Enrico, we have three invited guest speakers. Tanya Kuznetsova, who has been the assistant treasurer in one of the largest retail groups in Russia and is now director of treasury for a mid-sized company in North Carolina and membership officer of the North Carolina Treasury Management Association. François Masquelier is the CEO of Simply Treasury, the chairman of the Luxembourg Corporate Treasury Association, and vice chairman of the European Association of Corporate Treasurers. And finally, Mayank Mishra, who is the managing director and global head of digital channels at Citi. Please welcome today's presenters, and without further ado, I'll turn the mic over now to Enrico. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope you find today's webinar informative.
Thank you, Lori, and I hope to find everybody safe and in good health. This is the agenda for today, which is pretty challenging given such a high level of fellow panelists that I have the privilege of having with me today. So first of all, I will go through a series of findings, and I can say this is a sort of sneak preview of the current research I'm running on open banking for corporate treasurers, giving the perspective from both banks and fintechs, and I will be asking my fellow panelists to comment based on their perspectives. We have, definitely the privilege of having Tanya that can bring us the perspective from a US corporate treasurer, but Tanya comes from Russia, so she also has the possibility of having this global perspective, same as François, and Mayank can really wrap up from a global bank's perspective, the information I'm going to share. And we will also have, as Lori mentioned before, a Q&A at the end.